Hey, Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome to Let's Play Civilization 6, where we're going to be playing some Persia. We are playing with a host of UI mods, and you'll be able to find a link to all of my UI mods in the description of the video. We're also going to be playing with a few mods. The first one is going to be Religion Expanded, which adds a whole host of new worship buildings, a few new pantheons, as well as allowing you to change the religion limit. If you're ever annoyed when you're playing a game that there's only 6 religions in an 8-player game, this is the mod for you. You can configure that to change it. There's also a whole bunch of new beliefs, new founder beliefs, all sorts of cool new stuff that we're going to explore when we're actually in game. And on top of that, we're going to be playing with Pokiel's better pantheons. So not only will we have more choices of pantheons, but some of the weaker pantheons will be buffed. Like, for example, River Goddess has 2 amenities, 2 housing, and 2 food from holy sites adjacent to a river. Monument of the Gods is now just 15% production to all world wonders, which is really, really cool. A lot of these pantheons have been buffed. Very exciting. And we're also going to play with Sukhotakt's resources. Sukhotakt is probably my favorite modder, and he makes some of the best ones. There's just like a few extra resources like shark, bison, gold, obsidian, camels, and cheese. Nothing like crazy, but it's kind of nice to have a few extra little resources on the map, change things up, make things a little bit more interesting. We're going to be playing as Cyrus, so this bad boy right here, we'll talk about his bonuses when we get into the game. He is very strong at making really good appeal, lots of culture, lots of gold, and lots of tourism. And he's pretty damn good at doing cultural stuff too. Deity difficulty, 16 city states, 2 disaster intensity, 8 religions, again, using that mod that allowed me to choose how many religions are in the game, on a primordial map with completely standard settings, with the exception of the sea level being set to low. We also have barbarian clans and secret societies, and otherwise there's the game and map random seed if you care. Let's go ahead and get started. Now this is an interesting starting location. We have a delicious 1 food 3 production tile. We have a 2-2 tile, a 2 food 3 production tile. Lots of, oh my God, this start location is amazing. Very, very strong start location. Not loving the fact that I'm coastal, although there is potential here for at least a +2, maybe +3 campus if I were to do something like a harbor plus another random district. Who knows what district would be here. We could do something like this. We could also put the thing over here, but I reckon maybe this might be an interesting way to play. Let's first of all, let's talk about Cyrus's bonuses and what we plan to do this game. Our plan is obviously tourism, and that's because of Cyrus's Pyrodisa. Pyrodisa gives you +1 culture, +2 gold, as well as appeal, and appeal scales really good for culture games because it makes your life just a little bit easier. Just a little bit easier when it comes to doing things like seaside resorts, when it comes to doing things like generating tourism, because it itself generates tourism, and it can make your national parks better, it can make your preserves better. We're going to make insane culture. So that's the big reason I like to go culture on Cyrus. But Cyrus isn't necessarily only a culture civ, because he does have access to the Immortal, which is a melee class range unit. It's like a swordsman, but it has a ranged attack like an archer. So quite powerful in certain scenarios where you want a strong melee unit that is also capable of attacking without taking damage. So the Immortal can be a very strong timing attack unit. It can also be quite good on the defense. Very powerful, it can be used to get era score. Quite a few things that the Immortal is good at. We also have 2 really good bonuses. The first one is Fall of Babylon, which gives you +2 movement on the first 10 turns after you declare a surprise war with a major civilization. That's a ton of extra movement. You can really run someone over with this in the early game, or even just declare on someone across the world to make your scouts move faster. It's kind of a sneaky little thing you can do. You also get +5 loyalty per turn in occupied cities with a garrisoned unit. Very, very, very powerful. Normally one of the hardest things to do is to kind of hold a city once you've actually taken it, but Persia just has a much easier time with that. And also we get a little bit less grievances. So Persia, quite good in the very, very early game at killing another player, maybe taking a few peripheral cities, maybe not necessarily wiping them out, because generally speaking, wiping someone out is bad for a tourism victory, which is kind of Persia's best follow-up victory to this. Very good at early aggression, very good at SimCity. They get +1 trade route capacity with political philosophy, so they can do lots of trading, which is nice, and they get +2 gold and +1 culture for routes between their own cities. So internal trade is quite powerful. They have kind of a mixed bag of bonuses, which means they're kind of like a domination culture civ. They can either go domination or they can go culture. Both are viable. The real, really cool thing about Persia is they're actually a really good domination civ that can defend against culture victories because they have such a strong culture. And don't forget, this +2 movement is also insane for pillaging. You get a couple of horsemen, they have +6 movement, and then you get depredation, you pillage. You can pillage 5-6 tiles in a turn, depending on how many roads and stuff you're having. It gets crazy. So with that in mind, I would say that an ideal game of Persia either looks like an all-in domination game or some kind of like early domination that transitions into a culture game. I'm probably going to go for like a SimCity culture game, but I might sneak in a war like relatively early. I'm thinking like a war in the classical and medieval era might like really line up with what I want to do. But like I was saying earlier, we have an absolutely perfect start location. We have so many tiles that we could settle on. Now, the only thing that we lack is fresh water, which really isn't great. But I think the lack of fresh water that we have is kind of made up for the fact that we have really good tiles. So something I need to consider is I'm probably going to want to do at least 2 Pyradizas adjacent to every city center. And that's purely just because these are so powerful. 1 culture and 3 gold on this tile. It would be 1 food, 1 production, 3 gold, 1 culture. That's just like an amazing tile. But that also means I'm going to need to think about where am I going to get my food from as Cyrus. So I really need to think about it. Now, in place, I think is fine. It'd be a perfectly reasonable thing for me to do to start in place. I'm going to explore this way. This looks like it's like a mountain here. So finding out what this tile is less valuable to me. I think it's more important for me to explore down here. And that might encourage me to actually move down 1 tile to settle here. Based on this information, I could make a really interesting coastal capital here, because if we think about it, what's in range of my capital city here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's probably 14 coastal tiles in range of here. So if I were kind of thinking about what I might do with this civ, it would probably involve a harbor on one of these 2 tiles. It would probably involve a mausoleum like here, maybe a mausoleum there or there. And then like a theater square. Also, I'm thinking if I were to put a theater square there, like this, I could also maybe plop down a Pyradiza. The Pyradiza would be worth 2. Although this is almost certainly be better as a, certainly be better as a seaside resort. So if I was to put a Pyradiza here instead, that's a 2 food, 2 gold, 2 culture. Sorry, 3 gold, 2 culture. So maybe something like this could be really interesting. Now, the lack I have here is a campus, but the question is, how badly do I want a campus? Well, here's the thing. I don't need a campus in this city if I'm going for the mausoleum, because the mausoleum will take care of all my culture gold, or all my culture, faith, and science yields in this city. There is something to be said to go for a campus on this city, on this tile rather. Do a theater square here, move the mausoleum a tile. So I go campus, theater square, harbor, boom, boom, boom. Those are my 3 opening districts with a mausoleum. And then the city would be like a science and culture hub, especially with growth and stuff like that. And then use the land for production early game. There's also potential for like government plaza here too, if I want to get these up to 4 adjacency. That does mean my theater square still sits on only 3. But then, ding, 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 we do have the option to, in the late game, go for a water park here. And now this is starting to look very tasty. Like this is looking like a very nice setup. Huge amounts of gold, huge amounts of culture, huge amounts of science, really good growth from these coastal tiles. I will have to get growth from somewhere. I have camps, so maybe Camp Pantheon or something like that to really help me along. Now, there is also some sneaky stuff we could do here. Because we do have access to an early camp, we could do a Temple of Artemis. Now, let me double check. I think Temple of Artemis can be built on hills, but here's the problem. It needs to be built on so it just needs to be adjacent to a camp, but I'd have to get rid of either. I would love to build the Temple of Artemis this game, but I would need, in order to get this, I would need to get bronze working to be able to get rid of the rainforest. So that wouldn't be able to happen. Now, because we have some new pantheons and stuff like that, I think this is fine. I'm curious as to whether or not I want to get a holy site in the city. There's already 1, 2, 3, 4 districts queued up. So that's like a 10 population city I need to grow here. I don't think I can really afford 5 in the late game with the water. I'm not going to be able to get all these districts in a reasonable amount of time. Like if we're thinking about this rationally, it's probably going to be harbor, mausoleum. I might even skip campus for like just a, on this tile? You know the things I'm talking about. Oh God. Seaside resort. So in terms of priority, it goes number 1 for harbor, because I want the harbor for the mausoleum. And then I think both of these are like on equal priority. This is on 3, and then this is on 4 priority. So this is the prioritization that I want to do with these districts. And I have to do all this while also trying to get cities settled and stuff like that. But I think this is a reasonable start. I think this is reasonable. I've got 5 districts planned. I've got the order and priority of them set. So I think we settle in place, we deactivate our pins, and we start playing and exploring. That was a long time to get started. We did get the boost for sailing, for settling on the coast, so building fishing boats will be a little bit easier. Now, this is a primordial map, so there's going to be quite a bit of land, so it might be a double scout opener for us here. Plus, we have an ivory tile, which is 2 food, 3 production, and a gold, so it's quite powerful. And we can also grow to another 3 food, 2 production tile relatively quickly. Let me double check my extra life. Oh my God. Ben Miller, $250. Thank you so much, Ben Miller. Really appreciate you. And Ben Morgan for the 25. Super appreciate both of you. Right. I feel like doubles. I think at least 1 scout is the right move. And then I'll like make my decision when I get a little bit closer to that scout. In terms of opening technology, my one big worry this game is unlocking horses will screw my mausoleum. So I actually have to avoid horses until I have defensive tactics, and that is pretty tough. I mean, I'm gonna have to basically go archerless early game, which is fine as Persia, because as Persia you typically want to get ironworking and go straight to immortals for an early war. So I think I'm okay skipping that. Really good mountain with high appeal over here. Possible national park in the late game, maybe like boom 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 boom. That diamond right there feels good to me. I like the double incense on desert. If maybe there's enough tiles. Ooh, double silver too. We also met Leventa. Now, Leventa is a big deal. Leventa is such a big deal because it allows me to make colossal heads. And they're also a religious city-state. So that +1 faith straight away means we don't need to plug in God King to get our Pantheon. We could plug in God King to get our Pantheon faster, but we don't need to. So we're guaranteed a Pantheon right now. I'm very happy with that. It also gives us the ability to build colossal heads later in the game. And this city-state is close enough to me where I might want to keep it alive. Colossal heads give you +2 faith and a bunch of faith from adjacent forests. And they also turn that faith into tourism, which synergizes very well with the secret societies, especially if we go for Void Singers. Now, I really, really, really want to find a tribal village so I could maybe get a chance at the Void Singers. So I'm trying to look for the most efficient way to open the land up. Have not found a single tribal village. There's the Elsa Minerva. We found Granada. We were also the first to find Granada. So there's a few important pieces of information here. The first one is we have a continent split, which means there might be another player nearby. It also means we really ideally want to settle that continent for the extra access to luxuries. If you don't know, every continent can spawn up to 4 unique versions of luxuries. This continent has at least silver and incense. Silver is a very strong luxury because it's very good for gold generation. I would really need a flat desert tile in order to petrify this, but I don't think there's a flat desert tile around, so this desert will always be a little bit weak, although Persia can make good use of desert. The other thing is we actually found Granada, and Granada is another really powerful city-state for me to find in this game. Even though I had completely random city-states, I have found 2 that give me improvements, that give me tourism, which is amazing if I'm going to be going for some sort of Sim City tourism build. Granada gives you access to Alcazars, which give you +2 culture, as well as science equal to 50% of the tiles appeal. Don't forget, we're playing Persia, who has really good tile appeal. So this is potentially quite powerful. And I believe it also gives you tourism based on the cultural output once you reach flight. Let me double check that. Yeah, 100% of tourism from culture. Not bad, like +2 tourism and a little bit of science. This could be quite powerful indeed to find these 2 guys right at the start of the game. And the other really, really important thing is we were the first person to meet Granada. That means we're getting +1 production towards our scouts. And also that +1 production to units in your capital, right? That applies to everything. Every single thing that's underneath this unit category gets boosted. We're building builders faster. We're building settlers faster. You can see here, +1 towards units. We're building a scout. I'm pretty sure if I plug a builder in there and then refresh the UI, it'll still say +7. And if I plug in a monument, it'll go back down to +6. That's a really important detail that a lot of people don't know about militaristic city-states. I could open with Elsa Minerva this game. What do Elsa Minerva do? I'm pretty sure they give you envoys from sending. +1 economic policy slot is quite powerful. I think, though, as Persia, our best bet is to go Void Singers if possible. I will take Owls as a backup. Now, here's the question. Which governor am I opening here? Somebody just donated to rename the city. Let's grab this scout and we'll probably head him left and then this guy will go down. Boosted foreign trade, found a new continent, perfect. We met some city-states. We have a couple of missions. What were their missions actually? Military tradition and construct an encampment. Possible that we could do both of those. There's a coastline down here or else it's a lake. No, it's definitely coast. Here's a really useful piece of information, by the way. If you don't know, this blue line actually sees into the fog of war around your unit. So I know for a fact that my unit cannot move into this tile because it's at least a tile that costs 2 movement to move into. I preemptively put my unit on the maze because I want to explore this direction, right? And a normal player might step up onto this hill because the hill gives you extra vision and stuff like that. But I positioned here because if this was a flatland tile on the other side, I could step onto this hill and then through the fog of war and theoretically reveal more of the map. However, that is not the case, so I'll just step here and reveal more of the map. That way, we have found a kill, which is a 1-tile impassable natural wonder that gives you extra production towards building districts and wonders in adjacent tiles. Quite good for holy sites and stuff like that. That's excellent. We also found the Hermetic Order. Beautiful. We could go Hermetic Order this game. We got knowledge for astrology, and we met Kumasi. Kumasi, another very, very powerful cultural civ for a Owls of Minerva game. Trade routes to any city-state provide +2 culture and +1 gold for every specialty district in the origin city. So this kind of feels like an Owls of Minerva game. As much as I want to go Void Singers, Owls of Minerva is feeling very strong here. Pre-recorded. This really does feel like it was a pre-recording. This is just pure luck. I found 3 amazing city-states for a culture strategy. Like, this is so powerful. This is streamer luck 100%. This is pure insanity what's happening right now. I have no problem admitting that. Now, Elves of Minerva isn't as good as Void Singers for tourism games, but in this particular situation, it's still really strong. Yeah, I think double scout is the right move here. There is our little scouty boy. He's going to head to the east now. I need to know a little bit more about the world. Weirdly enough, the continent split is down here, so if I could maybe snag a bit of jade. It looks like I'm also towards the south of the map. You can rotate the camera, by the way. If you're a new player, you haven't discovered this trick. You hold down the Alt key on your keyboard, you left click, and then you pull your mouse to the left or right or up or down, and you can rotate your mouse. You can rotate your screen. One trick I find that helps is I have 3 monitors, so I can like scroll really far off screen. If you're on like a single monitor setup, you want to start on the very, very left side of the screen, hold down Alt, then click and drag. And by the time you get to the other side of the screen, you can tell which end of the map you're on. Like if I go up here, I can rotate the camera and see I can't see the top of the map by rotating the screen, which means I'm almost certainly near the bottom of the map by rotating the screen. Now we need to talk about what our next step is. We got our 2 scouts. We could go for a quick settler. I haven't really identified a city that I love. I don't really have any tiles that I can improve. I'm unlocking mining, which is fine. My heart is telling me settler. I'm also hearing monument to be able to unlock early empire a little bit quicker, maybe crack out a few more settlers. I could do a Magnus harvesting strat here. There's quite a bit of harvestable tiles here. But this city is going to really need the passive production and growth and stuff like that. I also have the goal to potentially buy a 3rd tile should I need to. I already have a 3 food, 2 production tile and a 2 food, 3 production tile, which are like the 2 best tiles you can find to the early game. And then I have 2 more 2-2 tiles, which is like amazing. This is a ridiculous start, by the way. Let's go over our choices here. I already have 2 scouts, so I don't need another scout. I haven't found a barbarian encampment, so I don't need a warrior or a slinger to clear it, which I would really like to do. It's really between monument and settler here. Have I identified a settlement that's important enough for me to rush? I kind of have, actually, with the Ickhill. Any settlement near the Ickhill can produce like an insane amount of districts, in particular a holy site. There's also like a really good farm triangle here with wheat. Ideally, that would be near a river. I don't have a river here, though. Which direction do I want to scout? I'm scouting to the south. I feel like I need to know more about what's up here. And this city doesn't have enough housing to justify going for a monument, because normally you want to go for a monument when you want to find more good tiles, but I already have access to incredible tiles, so a monument doesn't increase the rate that the city grows, so it's got to be just a quick settler. Boom. Mining, quarry, and the chopping and harvesting of copper. Mining's always a good tech to pick up. It gives you a lot of flexibility in the early game if you manage to get yourself a builder from a tribal village or something like that. I think I want to avoid animal husbandry. I would like a religion this game. I don't need sailing. It would be, man, I really want camps. I don't think I can actually place this camp until I have my mausoleum placed for fear of the horses appearing here. So I'm going to go ahead and work on pottery because I feel like a granary would be really, really strong, especially because it doesn't look like I have that much fresh water in my empire. So granaries are going to be super important for cities that, especially my capital city, like it's going to be pop capped at 3 population, which is terrible. So an early granary will be a big deal here, or else I'll just have to spam settlers. So if you're wondering what I was talking about, that blue line thing earlier, see, you can see that I know for a fact I can move through here. So I know it's a flatland tile. That's kind of like you could do a little bit of a fog of war radar with your scouts. It's a very useful tool. I haven't seen a barb yet. I haven't even seen a tribal village yet, which is concerning. It's making me feel like they're not on the map. There's Code of Laws. We don't need God King because we're already getting Pantheon Faith. We could plug in God King to get a faster Pantheon. I feel like urban planning is quite good here too. God King, not bad either. It would get me closer to purchasing my first builder as well. I think Survey, because I have double scout. I feel like Survey and God King are both really good here, but here's the thing. I'm going to get my Pantheon anyway. Do I need this 2 faith? I think I take urban planning. As much as I'd like that fast Pantheon, we'll go ahead and get to work on foreign trade. An early trader probably won't be on the cards here, but I don't have craftsmanship boosted, and I don't plan to plug in Ilkham. Do I plan to plug in Ilkham and Agog? You know what? These cards are a little bit more flexible in the early game. I don't think I'm rushing for early empire. The appeal in my empire is relatively okay. I'd have to chop out a lot of this jungle or go for biosphere, but that's like super late. So it'll probably be jungle chopping happening here this game. A lot of jungle chopping and a lot of jungle. Oh, finally a tribal village. Praying for at least the option to go for our friends, the Void Singers. Right, come on. Nope, military tradition was boosted, but that was a mission for Granada. So I only need 1 more envoy with Granada to get suzerainty, which could give me a bit of a culture snowball in the early game, although Persia already has a culture snowball, so maybe I'd be doing it for a science snowball. Kind of turns my civ. That's the thing about getting Alcazars. It kind of turns any civ into Sumeria. It's quite a powerful bonus. We have met Poland. Poland is a scary civ on deity, and we've also met... Okay, I've met 2 absolutely terrifying civs on the same turn. I don't like this. I do have the money to send envoys, or delegations at least. But if Poland is here to the west, that means I'm settling here to the west. There is a really nice Giga Canal. Tempted to settle on the incense and canal here. I could also settle 1 tile up. That feels a little bit more appropriate. It leaves the fresh water over here a little bit more open for me. Definitely rushing this spot. It's pretty well defensible because there's only 2 tiles that it can be attacked from. And it's on a hill. I'm liking it as a tile. Let's go ahead and attack this scout. We want to do this for the little bit of trickle experience. There we go. Boom. We can level up our scout from that. You always want to look for easy experience on your scouts if you can get it. Another industrial city-state hiding in the fog of war. I'm excited about that. Before I end this turn, I think I am sending delegations to both of these players. She already doesn't love me. First impression was bad. I think that's because they met me with a military unit. I still don't fully understand the first impression thing. Because I think I don't even know who I met where and how. I just know they don't like me. Like that's how I feel about that. But my hope is that the delegation will at least prevent super negative opinions. I feel like there's a decent amount of forest on this map, so I'm going to take ranger so I can move faster on those things. A barb camp did appear here. I need to get my warrior back now. Boom, there's void singers. So I have now the choice between the really strong faith generation from void singers, as well as the ability to generate relics and convert potentially a significant portion of my faith gain to culture and science and gold. However, here's the thing about void singers. Void singers aren't very, here's the thing about Persia. Persia doesn't really make a lot of faith. Persia makes a lot of culture. So maybe that's not important to me. There's Hong Kong. I was not the first person to meet Hong Kong, so there's likely another player somewhere over here. They want me to trigger an inspiration for mysticism. That's basically just a free envoy, which is +1 production here. Now, the worry about this is escorting this builder through this terrain might be a little bit dicey. Bit of a dicey dungeon experience. It's a tough choice here. Void Singers are really good for tourism. Here's my thoughts on this. I took a moment to look up the abilities, and I'm having a little bit of a think about it. Hermetic Order is a no. If those ley lines appear somewhere that I want to place a district, my current build plan for my capital is just devastated, and I won't have fun. So that's why I'm a no on Hermetic Order. Now, Void Singers could be a yes, because they do have a way to convert faith into tourism in the form of relics, but relics are kind of dependent upon you building Cristo Redentor. And you know what? Almost every time I go for a culture game, I have secret societies enabled, I go for Void Singers, and that just seems a little bit boring. Whereas I'm kind of feeling like with Kumasi, right? with the Kumasi thing here, I could get a ton of trade routes and go for like mass city-state suzerainty, have a ton of diplomatic favor, and also go for a tourism victory. That just seems kind of exciting and fun to me. So I'm going to take initiation here. I'm going to go for the Elves of Minerva. And that +1 economic policy slot is also going to pay me big dividends because I can immediately plug in God King and get that +1 gold and +1 culture, or +1 gold and +1 faith rather. Void Singers are overpowered. I 100% agree with you, chat. But here's the thing, all right? Sometimes the game is more fun if we pick a slightly more limiting choice rather than constantly pick the most powerful option. Sometimes playing with a slightly weird... No! My tribal village. Don't yoink. Any yoinkers in chat? Some of you are yoinking right now. No, Scout. All right, listen, Scout, I'm trusting you. Okay, I'm trusting you, Scout, not to do this. How do I defend a city against Poland? If that tribal village contained a relic, I actually might cry. I think I need to have a... I need another warrior, unfortunately. I need another warrior to defend this city. To give it the combat strength for Poland to be like, okay, I'm not attacking you. There is Scythia. Oh my sweet unholy Christ. Why is everyone on this map a hostile civilization? Every single one of them is just like pure aggression incarnate. The problem is, I would love to pick up archery, but if these horses screw up my mausoleum, my whole build for the capital is like nuked. And this is such a good water capital too, because it has really, really good land for placing districts, but it also still has lots of water. So this is just like, this is not happening. I think we have to go bronze working here and hope that we hit iron. I also agree. I do think that Void Singers kind of push you in a way that you have to kind of play a certain way when you pick Void Singers. And I'm just not about that life every game. I want to play slightly differently sometimes. That's just who I am as a player, who I am as a person, and who I will always be. I would love to have stepped here. I guarantee you, I'm going to step onto this floodplain and immediately get hit by a flood. Why would you stand here? Who told you to stand here? Move! I literally need this tile to get up onto this hill next turn. He's going to go step on that hill, isn't he? And he's never going to move. There's Pamukalo. Oh my god, I'm so close to two natural wonders. Pamukalo is an interesting one. It gives you +1 amenity as well as an additional amenity if it's adjacent to an entertainment complex. And it gives major adjacency bonuses to theater squares, campuses, and commercial hubs. So you can get pretty damn good districts next to this thing. Like if you pop down a theater square next to this bad boy, you could do one each side. Boom, boom. And then you can even do something like, you know, throw down an entertainment complex next to that, and that becomes a +6. God damn, is that nice. Just don't step up there. Thank you. Okay. He delayed my settler by a whole turn. Massive jerk move. Now, granary makes sense here to keep the city growing. We have strong growth tiles. We have no tiles to improve. I need irrigation. I need tech. I need animal husbandry to ever build this. I'm kind of like in the grip of, I have to make a sacrifice here, and I can't. I'm not doing it. I will not be cowed. Okay? Moo. Also, I totally forgot to turn back on the show yield ribbon HUD thing here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're a little bit behind. It's okay. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Let's pick up foreign trade. I want that trader now. It's not safe to trade with anyone. Never mind. Straight to craftsmanship. Think I could grab a slinger for a boost for archery too? No, this is my kill. God damn it. He's going to yoink this on me. Well, I mean, it's fine. Turn 23, we have our Pantheon. Let's start talking about these new Pantheons. We have some very nice Pantheons here. We have River Goddess. +2 amenities, +2 housing, +2 food from holy sites adjacent to a river. Don't have a lot of rivers in my empire. We've got the standard adjacency from stuff like that. Sacred Path is pretty cool. All these are very, very nice. I don't have any fishing resources aside from one crab, so God of the Sea is not a yes. I don't want to know whether or not there's horses underneath the mausoleum. So we are going to skip God of the Open Sky. Goddess of the Hunt, quite good here. We have one camp, potentially two camps, although it'll likely be grabbed by Hong Kong. Looks like we have just the one camp here. So Goddess of the Hunt, not doing it for me. 2 phase 2 production from resources improved by quarries. Jade is mining, I think, like that. +2 phase from resources improved by mines. Well, we have a decent amount of silver. I don't think that's not enough to make me want to take it. +1 science, +1 faith, and +1 production from strategics. +1 food from plantations. Yeah, plantations not too bad. 25% production towards military units, just permanently. Pretty strong. Especially as Persia might open up a timing attack for us. I kind of want something to help me right now is the problem. God of Healing, God of War. Fertility rights free settler, +1 food for every city. Growth rate is 10% higher, quite good. Also, religious settlements, quite good here. Receive a free builder, +1 production in every city, and city borders expand faster. Very powerful, very strong, very cool. Loving these new pantheons from the mod that we are using. Better, I think it's Pokeol's better pantheons and religions expanded combined make this really, really nice set of pantheons. Now, Earth Goddess, still quite good. Now, here we go. We got some of these new pantheons. All right, let's have a look. Chthonic Cult, +1 science from tiles with breathtaking appeal. Ooh, not a whole lot of tiles in my empire for that. So Chthonic Cult, while cool, not really helping me here. +1 food from Tundra is very strong, as is Desert Miracles. Oh my god, both of these have huge potential. +1 culture from rainforests. Hello, chicken pizza. +1 faith from woods. Oh my, all of these are amazing. Primordial waters, +2 amenities, +2 housing, and +2 food from holy sites adjacent to coast or lake tiles. Now that is a pantheon I could get on board with on this map. That is very powerful. It basically turns, if your holy site is adjacent to a coast or lake tile, it's basically like a campus adjacent to a reef. That's really powerful. The problem is with rainforest rituals, as much as I want to keep this, I'm going to be cutting down on my rainforests. Messenger of the Gods, +1 trade route and a free trader in the capital, and +1 gold from all trade routes. This with the Elves of Minerva feels pretty damn strong. Sacred Emissaries, ooh, +1 influence point per turn is actually huge, especially early game. Literally doubles my influence gain, and is somewhere between like a, 10 to 20% increase? Because here you get, here it's a 33% increase for these governments. It's a 20% boost for these governments, and then late game, it's still like a solid, like 15%. No, 33% divided by 2, 16. Yeah, it would be about like a 13 to 14% increase in your influence per turn. So overall, that's not bad. That's a good amount of extra envoys here. Sacred Emissaries, very, very strong. Goddess of Calm Waters, +1 food from sea resources and reefs. Not bad, actually. I do have a reef and a sea resource. That's only 2 food in this game for me right now. There's another little bit of food over here, maybe another little bit over here. I don't think I have enough right now to justify this. +1 culture from resources improved by camps. Not bad. +3 gold and +1 culture from resources improved by quarries. +1 science from resources improved by mines. Could be good for this silver over here. +1 food and +1 production. Ooh, Sun God seems crazy good. Food and production from resources built on farms, or farms built on resources. And then +1 culture from improvements plantations. I think the plantation one was already up here. Am I crazy? Yeah, food. Goddess of festivals. Oral tradition. The Barb Scout is next to your settler. That's not a worry, because I can settle the scout this turn, or settle them this turn. These are all really, 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 really cool. Really, 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 really cool. So if I were to compare Messenger of the Gods and Sacred Emissaries, this is still going to be like an envoy every 30 to 40 turns, maybe 60 turns. Whereas this is going to be like an extra envoy. This gives me more envoys overall, but this kind of feeds into my Elves of Minerva a little bit better. But I'm already going to have a ton of envoys with city-states, so maybe the trade route isn't necessary, although a trade route right now would be nice. Roads are good, all that sort of stuff. Nothing in this list is really jumping out at me, except for like fertility rights, religious settlements, and then these two. Like all of the get stuff now pantheons feel really, really good to me. I feel like if I was to trade with anyone, does anyone have a trading mission? That's the real question. It looks like nobody has the trading mission. And I feel like Laventa is the safest trade for me. The least likely to get hit by a barb. I'm going to go ahead and trade with Laventa. Boom. Send trader there. For the kids, it's a damn fine city. Also, checking extra life. Wolfman with the $25 donation, really appreciated. And Nand with the $250 donation. Research animal husbandry, you coward. Thank you. Oh, shoot. I should have sent a trader to Granada to get suzerainty of Granada. 5 head, explore the map. Damn it. Well, that's life. Sometimes you misclick. I'll be able to get them soon. Once I get access to the foreign trade civic, I'll be grand. Oh, builder. I feel like in For the Kids, there's like a few options I can go for here. I can either go for the fast granary. This city's already on freshwater, so it doesn't need the granary. It has like really crappy tiles, so it could use like a mine here. Boom. That becomes a 2-2 tile. Becomes pretty reasonable. I think of all the things that this city needs, it needs like production and defense and all that sort of stuff. I might be able to purchase a spearman. Could I grab a hoplite? Oh my god, I would be so pogged out right now if I could get a hoplite. No available items to use in a deal. Damn it. If only I'd settled on luxuries like I made my own tutorials about. How do you rename a city? If you have no deals, no mods or anything like that, you have to click on the city and then click on this toggle city details. And over here in the top left, you'll be able to rename the city by clicking in here. If you have Sucretax's simple UI improvements, you can just click down here, boom, and rename the city from this box. It's literally incredible. How have they not killed this? What is he fortifying to full health before? Is this just like disrespect here? Is he fortifying to full health before he like clicks to pillage? This is the sort of shit a player would do to like tilt his opponent. You know what I mean? But he's just doing it's the AI doing it to a barbarian. Like, okay, buddy. Nice. We have discovered Venice or Ven Ice. They give your trade routes to foreign cities earn +1 gold for each luxury resource at the destination and +2 gold. They have a mission for state workforce. That may happen if I build a district. This scout is ready for a promotion. I feel like Ranger is just better on this map. There's so much forest and stuff like that. It's just a pretty crazy map. There is our Slinger, who will be positioned somewhere over here to protect. What's our next move? It might be our third city. That might be what we go for here. I could use a granary, but a settler would have a much bigger return on investment, much faster. Capital has really, really good production. Maybe like settler monument granary. Boom, boom, boom. Something like this anyway. We'll go for a settler next for sure. But I think that's going to be it for this episode. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.